And these are the consequences when you're dealing with the rising home costs and apartments. Let's check it out.
It actually has a queen size bed, which is hard to believe.
For Gus Francis, this is home. A 20-year-old camper he bought for $5,000, parked in an RV lot in Graysville, Tennessee, just north of Chattanooga.
I got all my rosaries for protection everywhere. Books.
Now retired, he worked for decades as a commercial diver and hoped to live closer to his widowed mother. But when he sought a more conventional home,
I just can't see how people with a normal job making $15 an hour can afford an apartment without multiple roommates.
That's what's happening to so many people right now. And it's not only people living in RVs, it's a lot of these Gen Zers are living with their parents. And shoot, it's a lot of millennials as well living with their parents, because the cost of homes right now, guys, is astronomical. And it's not even just the fact of buying a house and getting into a house. It's all those things that come along with it. The property taxes, the homeowners insurance, the repairs, all of that is coming along with it. And especially now with the mortgage rate being at like 6.25, it's so high, and people are just trying to find new conventional ways to just survive, to just live. Now, I applaud the guy though, right? Because at least he's not going out there and living, and just buying stuff and not being able to afford things and not living below his means and just drowning every single day, just stressed out because of how much money he's paying in his house or his apartment. People are now getting really wise and really creative and finding ways, to pretty much live. And that's exactly what he's doing. And so many people are doing it. But what's really unfortunate is that's an elderly guy, right? That's an elderly guy that did all the right things, but unfortunately, maybe he didn't save as much as he would like, or maybe he just never bought a home. Who knows? We don't understand that situation. But now to survive during these times with everything being so expensive is not easy, especially for those people who just solely relying on Social Security. They are completely struggling right now because they cannot survive during these times. It's just extremely scary and extremely expensive. And it reminds me of a video I saw recently where there was like a lady, she was like 80 something years old, and she had nowhere to live, and she was living in her car. Not in her RV, but actually in her car.
Right next door is Debbie Williams.
Welcome to my house. Over here's the grandkids, see?
Oh, cute, yeah.
And that's Seven's
the littlest one.
Yeah.
She sold her house in Kentucky to be closer to her grandchildren, but housing prices near Chattanooga increased by almost 50% since 2020.
Apartments are like about $1,200 a month, but then you got your utilities to pay. This is permanent, plus it include it's like $550 a month, includes electric, water.
So you're saving over
and
50%.
Trash too, everything. It includes everything.
Sometimes you gotta make that money stretch. And that's why I tell people all the time, because everyone thinks you gotta buy a house. That's the way to build wealth. Well, check this out, guys. I understand her scenario is probably not like everyone else's, but this is just another perspective, right? Someone's experience to let you know it's not always that easy. She said she sold her house and she wasn't able to afford the house where she was in right now, somewhere in Tennessee, I believe is what she said. And she can't afford that either. So simply just because you have a home and you sell it, you think, yes, I have all this money. But now you got to do something with that equity. And the smart thing was what I'm hoping she did, because this is what I would do if I was her as well, which is buying that RV or that camper that she's in right now and holding on to that money to live off of for the rest of her life. Because right now, man, people within that age, they don't have jobs and they're just depending on Social Security, and also in her case now on some of that equity she has from the house. But guys, let me know what you think. Are you willing to go that far? Right? You willing to go that far to live in an RV in order to survive? Or do you think it's just like, nah, that's just ridiculous. That's something you just won't do. To me, this will be an interesting answer, whatever you guys have, because I will have some difficulty with that. But when it's all said and done, really, having a roof over your head is the most important thing, hands down. But for some people right now watching videos like this, it's a rude awakening, letting you know you need to start saving for the future. Stop with this YOLO life, because you could end up in that same situation.
Debbie works nights helping adults with disabilities and says she likes her setup, even if the exercise bike doesn't fit inside.
Bathroom,
from the hallway.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like my shower. It's really nice. And then my bedroom.
Debbie and Gus now among the nearly 500,000 people in the U.S. living in RVs full time.
That is a lot of people that I did not expect are living in an RV. I knew it was a lot, but not 586,000. Some people are doing it by choice in order to become debt free. But man, I mean, what would you guys do, man? Really, would you guys live in that RV to just get by? It's really scary what's going on right now in the housing market, and I don't see it get any better. Recently, I heard Trump said he's going to do some type of home disaster thing. I don't know what that entails. I have no idea. I don't listen to politics. They say a bunch of crazy stuff, and I got no idea what they're going to do. But this just shows you, man, the level people are going to just to survive and a place to stay. Now, I give her credit, man, because she seems happy about it. She's not complaining about it. She seems cool with her situation, right? She's making the best out of it. And sometimes that's what you have to do because, right, you need to survive. We need to survive. We need to do the best that we can. If I was in her situation, man, I mean, man, it would be tough, man. It really would be tough for me to do that. But you got to do what you got to do to survive, right? You just got to do what you have to do.
I sometimes thought, man, if I could have saved more money in the past, but what it was is I don't blame myself either because I raised 4 kids with no child support.
Despite the tight quarters, plenty of room to build a community that matters.
Yeah, that's putting things in perspective, right? You always wish you could do things better, but it seemed like she said she was a single mother taking care of her 4 kids. That is a huge, feat in itself. The fact that she was able to raise 4 kids. And I'm sure she thinks about it a lot. I know I would. I think about it a lot. Like, man, what if things would have went out this way, would turn this way? But you can't just live a life just constantly just worried about or thinking about the things you could have done in the past. If you could have saved more, whatever the case may be. Because here you are now. And at least, right, in all actuality, she had that house, and with that equity, it did make her situation a lot better. And I give her props too, because I don't know what you guys would think. Would you guys let your parents stay in an RV? She's staying in an RV and she's not living with her kids. So in reality, it's like, hey, she's at least being like responsible. But a lot of times, guys, nowadays, it feels like you need to have like a multi-family household, right? Like you have to have just like the mother and yourself and the kids. Like, that's like the new trend right now, because in order to build wealth, in order to just have a happier life, less stress life, everyone living under one roof, working together as a family, looks like what's going to be happening within a few years. That might be just the best option. You guys let me know what you think. If you guys like content like this, hit the like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Catch you on my next video.